Real retirees show how this works. A couple who retired with $1.2 million in 2015 adjusted their withdrawals based on market performance. After a 12% market gain in 2016, they withdrew 4.5%, $54,000. Following a market drop in 2018, they reduced to 3.5%, $42,000. By 2023, their portfolio had grown to $1.3 million despite withdrawals, thanks to their flexibility. Studies back this up. Retirees who adjust withdrawals by just 10% during bad years improve portfolio survival rates by 25%. Cutting spending 15% during the first 2 years of a market crash can leave portfolios 80% larger after recovery compared to rigid plans. The key is balance. Limit annual spending changes to 10 to 15% to avoid dramatic swings while still protecting your portfolio. Flexible withdrawals let you adapt to life surprises while staying on track for long-term success. What the 5 million retirees got right. After all the warnings about retirement spending pitfalls, let's look at what actually worked. The JP Morgan study revealed clear patterns among retirees who navigated these challenges successfully. These weren't people with magical portfolios or incredible luck. They followed specific strategies anyone can replicate. The most successful retirees shared a key trait: flexibility. They adjusted their spending based on market conditions and personal needs. For example, when markets dropped, they trimmed discretionary expenses temporarily. When portfolios grew, they allowed modest splurges. This adaptability proved far more effective than rigidly sticking to a fixed withdrawal rate. Another critical factor was maintaining cash reserves. Retirees who kept 2 to 3 years of living expenses in safe accounts avoided selling investments during downturns. One couple retired in 2007 with $1 million. When the 2008 crash hit, they relied on their cash cushion for 18 months, allowing their portfolio to recover by 2010, while others who sold low never regained their losses. Healthcare planning also stood out. Successful retirees prepared for worst-case scenarios by funding health savings accounts or purchasing long-term care insurance early, when premiums were more affordable. One retiree accumulated $85,000 in her HSA by age 65, which covered her medical costs for the first decade of retirement. Diversified income streams provided stability. Many retirees supplemented portfolio withdrawals with rental income, part-time work, or annuities. For instance, a former teacher earned $15,000 annually tutoring online, which paid for travel without touching her investments. Another couple's rental property covered their healthcare costs. Successful retirees also planned for irregular expenses. They anticipated big-ticket items like home repairs or car replacements by maintaining separate savings funds. One couple saved $400 monthly for 15 years, building a $72,000 home maintenance fund to handle major projects stress-free. Tax planning played a pivotal role. Many retirees optimized their strategies by doing Roth conversions during low-income years or timing IRA withdrawals and charitable contributions to minimize taxes. One couple saved $12,000 annually by carefully managing these moves. Finally, they treated their retirement plan as a living system. Instead of rigid rules, they used guardrails, spending up to 5% of their portfolio in good years, but cutting back to 3.5% after losses. This approach balanced discipline with flexibility, ensuring they neither underspent out of fear nor overspent recklessly. The common thread? Successful retirees embraced adaptability. They prepared for surprises, adjusted to changing circumstances, and stayed consistent with their strategies. Their success wasn't about complexity. It was about staying proactive and flexible. By adopting these behaviors, you can build a retirement plan that weathers any storm while letting you enjoy the journey. Your action plan based on real data. Here's how to turn everything we've learned from 5 million retirees into action. The data shows most retirement plans fail because they ignore real spending patterns. You can fix yours starting today with these concrete steps. 1. Calculate your real retirement spending needs. Take your current annual expenses and add 25% for the first 5 to 7 years. Then add another 15% for healthcare and unexpected costs. For example, if you think you'll spend $60,000 annually, plan for $85,000 initially. This aligns with what real retirees actually experience, not theoretical averages. 2. Build cash reserves for 2 to 3 years of expenses. This helps you avoid selling investments during market downturns. Keep this money in high-yield savings or short-term bonds, safe but accessible. One retiree in the study weathered the 2008 crash by living off cash for 18 months instead of selling at the bottom. 3. Segment your spending. Separate essentials like housing and food from discretionary expenses like travel and hobbies. When markets drop, cut discretionary spending first. Retirees who do this recover faster than those making across-the-board cuts. Use apps like Inab or Mint to track these categories. 4. Adopt flexible withdrawal strategies. Replace the rigid 4% rule with guardrails. Withdraw 3.5% to 5.5% of your portfolio annually. After gains, take 5%. After losses, drop to 3.5%. This protects your portfolio during downturns. One couple, using this approach, grew their $1.2 million portfolio despite withdrawals by adapting to market conditions. 5. Plan for healthcare shocks. Open an HSA if you're still working and max it out. If retired, set aside $20,000 to $30,000 specifically for medical surprises. Research long-term care insurance early. Premiums are cheaper in your 50s. One retiree's $85,000 HSA covered all medical costs for a decade. 6. Optimize Social Security timing. If you can wait until age 70, you'll receive 32% higher payments, which can cover late retirement costs. Use savings to bridge the gap if needed. A widow in the study increased her monthly check from $1,800 to $2,900 by delaying benefits. 7. Consider part-time work. Even 10 hours a week earning $15,000 annually reduces portfolio withdrawals when it matters most. A retired teacher tutors online, funding travel without touching investments. The data shows this reduces failure rates by 30%. 8. Stress test your plan. Use tools like New Retirement or FireCalc to model worst-case scenarios, such as market crashes early in retirement or spending 30% more in the first 5 years. Adjust your plan until it survives these tests. 9. Prepare for irregular expenses. Create separate savings buckets for home repairs, car replacements, and family needs. Automate monthly contributions, $300 for home maintenance, $200 for car costs. One couple's $400 monthly home fund grew to $72,000 over 15 years, covering major projects. 10. Review your asset allocation. As retirement nears, shift enough to safer assets to cover 5 to 7 years of withdrawals. This prevents forced stock sales during crashes. Many successful retirees use a bucket strategy: cash for short-term needs, bonds for medium-term, and stocks for long-term growth. Now assess your current plan. Does it account for spending spikes, healthcare surprises, and market volatility? If not, start adjusting today. Begin by calculating your real spending needs or building cash reserves. Even $500 monthly adds up fast. Then explore flexible withdrawal tools and stress test your numbers. The most successful retirees aren't those with perfect plans. They're the ones who adapt. Take one step today. Small actions compound into major security, ensuring your retirement is as resilient as possible. The one question you must ask your financial advisor. Here's the one question that reveals whether your financial advisor understands real retirement spending. How do you account for spending volatility and sequence risk in retirement plans? This question cuts through the sales pitch and shows if they're using outdated models or real data. Most advisors still rely on smooth spending projections that ignore the 20 to 30% spikes and drops actual retirees experience. When you ask this, listen carefully to their answer. Good advisors will mention strategies like dynamic withdrawals that adjust to market conditions, cash reserves for 2 to 3 years of expenses, and separate planning for healthcare shocks. They'll also stress test for bad sequence scenarios and address the 3 distinct spending phases we've covered. Red flags to watch for include: 1. Straight-line spending projections. 2. No discussion of sequence risk protection. 3. Ignoring healthcare cost spikes. 4. Claims their plan works in all market conditions. 5. Inability to explain withdrawal strategy flexibility. Good advisors use tools that model real-life scenarios such as spending surges in early retirement, 25 to 40% annual spending fluctuations. Healthcare cost explosions. Different market return sequences. Ask to see their retirement planning software. The best programs allow input for separate spending categories, essentials versus discretionary, irregular large expenses, different inflation rates for healthcare, and actual historical market sequences. If they're just using a basic calculator, that's a sign to keep looking. Some advisors specialize in alternative approaches like bucket strategies, cash for short-term, bonds for medium-term, stocks for long-term. Guardrail withdrawal systems, 3.5 to 5.5% ranges, or time-segmented planning for different retirement phases. These methods often align better with real spending patterns than rigid rules. Key follow-up questions to ask include: how would your plan handle a 30% market drop in my first retirement year? What spending would you cut first in a downturn? How do you plan for $20,000 plus healthcare surprises? Advisors who understand volatility will use terms like spending shocks and sequence risk, show charts of actual retiree spending patterns, and discuss multiple scenarios rather than averages. They'll also have clear protocols for market downturns. In contrast, bad advisors often dismiss spending volatility as unimportant, claim their proprietary system solves everything, or push products without explaining how they handle real retirement risks. If they can't show real client examples of surviving bad markets, that's a major red flag. Good advisors will welcome these questions and provide clear, specific answers. They'll show you sample client plans that survived bad sequences, explain how they've adjusted strategies based on new data, and outline multiple withdrawal approaches tailored to client needs. Asking the right questions ensures you find an advisor who truly understands the complexities of retirement spending. It's not just about numbers, it's about protecting your future. Here's the hard truth: retirement spending doesn't follow the neat, predictable path most advisors sell you. Data from 5 million retirees proves it. You'll likely spend 25% more early on, face unpredictable healthcare shocks, and experience wild spending swings year to year. Those simple retirement rules are dangerously wrong. Your plan must reflect reality, not fantasy. Guessing wrong could cost you everything. So, what's your next move? Check the links below for tools to rebuild your strategy using actual retiree data. The time to act is now, because knowing better means planning smarter. Don't wait to secure your future.